It's a rare occasion that one playoff run or series can change a person's mind about a certain player or team. It normally takes several seasons of a body of work and the hype of other people around you to establish your thoughts on a player. That's not to say it hasn't happened. There has been occasions where coming up short when it matters most completely changed people's perceptions. Take LeBron for instance. Pre-2011, he was considered to be the next heir apparent for Michael Jordan's throne and wildly considered to be right behind Kobe Bryant for best player in the world. Then the Dallas Mavericks happened. He went from averaging 27 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds in the regular season to 18 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. From best player in the league to butt of all jokes. From Michael Jordan to Darko Milicic. All my Pistons fans will remember the great Darko. It works the other way too though. Sometimes a great run can change a player's entire legacy. Let's take Dirk Nowitzki from that same finals run that almost doomed LeBron's legacy. At that time, Dirk was considered a great player but nowhere near the level he is now. That one run and championship took him from around the top 40 to 50 all-time great to most people's top 20. I say all this to say, I just watched that very thing happen. And man, Ben Simmons. This is a guy for the Philadelphia 76ers I had tremendous belief in, and many of the people I talk basketball with would tell you the same. What I've just seen, no. What I've witnessed for years now has totally changed what I thought, and that's why I want to focus on what I thought of him and what this playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks revealed. So let's talk about it, man. Let's see what's up. When I had these conversations with trusted basketball historians, I always had the same views about Ben. Like most people did when he was drafted, I thought he was a generational type talent. Let's not be confused about what Ben Simmons is. This guy is a 6'10" athletic point guard with the ability to completely shut down your team's best player and then jump over him as he runs his offense. In my defense, you can't tell me that doesn't sound like a player some 8-year-old made on 2K to cheat because he thought the game was too hard. Men in his height in the NBA are typically relegated to setting screens and catching alley-oops. Instead, he's expected to bring the ball up the court and initiate offense like he's Magic Johnson. This skill set was supposed to be made all the better when paired with the fact that he plays alongside probably the best center in the league, and a man who deserves his own player perspective in Joel Embiid. Joel, when healthy, has a combination of dominant size, power, and skill when paired with Ben Simmons was supposed to have them ruling the league for years to come. I thought Ben had LeBron James potential. When the Sixers finally put the ball in his hands and moved him from power forward to point guard, I thought we'd see a huge leap. But we didn't. Ben Simmons is a 6'10" athletic point guard. I say that again because it's very important. With excellent court vision, a penchant for finishing at the rim, and the ability to guard your favorite team's best player and take him out of the game. If what I just said sounds familiar, that's because it should. If that sounds like Penny Hardaway, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, you should listen to your ears more often, because they're right. Those are all the players Ben was compared to coming out of college. The two big knocks on him coming out of college, however, were that he either doesn't or can't shoot, and he never seemed to be fully engaged on the court or in practice. But surely those were things he'd work on when he got to the league, right? When he got paid to do it, I looked past those issues and bought into the hype when I saw him play his rookie season when he averaged 16 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds. Numbers that suggest he was every bit on the path of Magic or LeBron. And it was these numbers combined with his effortless athleticism and tremendous out-of-position size that led me to overlook his most critical game-breaking flaw. He has zero drive to be great at the game of basketball. The numbers in play speaks for itself. During that great rookie season, he shot 54% from the floor. An amazing number until you look where his shots came from. That season, he took 544 shots. 347 of them came right at the rim. That's over 71% of his shots, a very high percentage for a point guard, but more than acceptable when you consider he shot 73% on them. That's an extremely impressive number. What becomes a lot less impressive though is when you look at where his numbers were when he took shots literally the same distance as you from your TV when you play 2K. He took 148 shots 3 to 10 feet from the rim. He shot 40% from that space. And it only gets worse when you look at his percentages the further you get from the rim. What's worse is that season he took almost no shots outside of the paint. That is completely unreasonable play from your point guard and totally unjustifiable. Now you look at me and maybe you go, Ray, by the way, yeah? Hello? It's unfair to expect a rookie to come in and live up to the Magic LeBron hype. You did say everyone knew he couldn't shoot, and sometimes he wouldn't shoot. And to that I say, shut up. No, but you're right. It's unfair to expect a player to come into the league already polished and completely NBA ready. So let's fast forward a bit then. Ben has been in the league 4 years after all, so let's look at something a little more recent, like this year. This year he shot 325 shots in total and took 259 of those shots right at the rim, shooting 69%. Not only is he not taking any jump shots at all, he's actually a worse player than he was when he was a rookie. In fact, since his rookie year, his numbers and stats have either stagnated or gotten worse, capping out at 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists in his second year. I repeat, this is a 6'10" man with the handles of a guard with the ball always in his hands. These numbers are far too low, and that leads me back to my main point. Ben Simmons has shown no drive to get better in any way. It's just flat out unacceptable to be in the NBA 4 years and not develop anything close to a jump shot. This man cannot shoot a grain of sand onto the beach. He would literally hit the middle of the ocean first. It reeks of laziness. To be God gifted with so much and to do so little with it in all this time is a travesty. And it's worse when you consider the fact that he's teammates with Joel Embiid, easily the best big man in the NBA since Shaquille O'Neal. I don't think it's close. These guys are supposed to be Shaq and Penny, Stockton and Malone, Magic and Kareem. Instead, they're more like Patrick Ewing and John Starks. And it's a shame because the majority of the blame can be laid right at Ben's feet. I cannot begin to express how backbreaking it is to have a center on the court that can't or won't shoot a jump shot. But to have a point guard that's allergic to anything not a layup and shoots 50% from the free throw line is almost insurmountable when it comes to winning something small like, a championship. Let's take a look at this series they just played. More specifically, the last 3 games, as those are the games more indicative of his play and mindset. While yes, I understand it's somewhat unfair to pick 3 games to base a player's entire worth by, but I believe it's counterbalanced by the fact that these were the 3 of the most important games in over 10 years for Philadelphia, and also the most important in Ben's whole career considering all the championship expectations placed on Philly this year based on Joel Embiid's MVP performances and Ben's hype. These were the rise and shine games when great players, like Ben was projected to be, figure it out and bring it home. So let's look and see how he contributed to his team. He averaged 6 points on 42% shooting, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. Let's ignore the scoring for a second. I recognize the fact that 9 assists and 7 rebounds is tremendous, but I'm unimpressed by it. Whoa, damn, wait a minute, hear me out. Part of the argument for Ben is that he is such an all-around game, and I tend to agree with that fact. What makes me veer away from everyone else in that camp is the fact that when you're an athletic 6'10", you should average 10 rebounds, and when you're the primary playmaker, you should have near double-digit assists. With that mindset and expectations in place, I can almost make the argument those numbers are also subpar. Now let's get to this shooting, man. 6 points on 42% shooting. 6 points on 42% against an Atlanta Hawks team known for being the opposite of defense. In fact, in comparison to the 76ers, and Ben in particular, the Hawks are actually outmatched and outsized at almost every position when it comes to sheer length and height. 6 on 42 honestly says it all. I personally believe Ben is a much better player than this. Every player is better than this. This is unacceptable. What that shows to me is Ben has no heart. Once again, he has no drive or ability to overcome. And look no further than his free throw shooting for confirmation. 35% in those last 3 games. Ben was so bad at the free throw line that the Hawks started to foul him on purpose with the expectation that he would miss one, or more likely both, and they were right. That game plan to foul Ben rattled him so much that his confidence deteriorated to the point that he began to stop shooting. He took 4 shots in Game 5, 6 in Game 6, and 4 in Game 7. Good for a total of only 20 shots in 3 games. Now to put that in some perspective, Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks point guard and Ben's direct opponent, took over 20 shots himself in 5 out of the 7 games the Hawks and 76ers played this series. There's just no way a team can win or overcome with that level of ineptitude. There's a large part of me that really says, yeah, it's time to be done with this. But that still seems to just be so wrong to break up a team when you have a guy at point guard that has all the tools and physical elements to be a top 20 player of all time, with another guy in Joel Embiid who's a modern day Shaq with a jump shot at center. Personally, I wouldn't trade Ben, but that's not out of respect for his game or anything. It's more in recognition of the fact that trades in the NBA hardly return equal value, and after this most recent showing in these playoffs, his trade value is at an all-time low. But maybe that's what Ben needs. Maybe he needs a change of scenery to refresh him and restore some confidence. Maybe he needs a new organization that won't baby him and allow him to show up to practice late and leave early. A team built around him alone might be the only way for this version of Ben Simmons to shine. The blueprint is certainly there. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks. It might be better for Ben to follow the Giannis Antetokounmpo path and not the LeBron Magic path and go from point guard back to power forward on a new team. Now, of course, that sounds like a bit of a demotion, but Giannis is a similar player to Ben with a similar skill set and weaknesses. Both are long, big men with tremendous hyper-athleticism but lack a jump shot. The difference here is mindset and situation. Giannis has no shortage of confidence or killer will. If teams dare him to shoot, he absolutely will, even though he can't. And if he airballs a free throw, he'll take the next one with the confidence of Steph Curry. The point of that is to show the other team you aren't afraid to at least try to punish them by shooting, that they can't bully you. It's that same mindset that led Giannis to become a two-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. A trade position change could and should be the catalyst for Ben to take a similar but likely lesser path to redemption and stardom. So while I personally wouldn't trade him, right now at least, that may be exactly what he needs. I think it's time for all us basketball fans to stop projecting what we want a player to be or what we think he should be. I'm certainly guilty of it, and Ben Simmons isn't unique to this phenomenon. It happens across all sports. But in this case, I think it's doubly necessary. Ben Simmons is not Penny Hardaway, he's not Magic Johnson, and he's certainly not LeBron James. Maybe he's just tall Markelle Fultz. He's really good. A 3 out of 5 star player and a 5 out of 5 star body. Maybe we should just accept that and move along. Hey everybody, it's me, and I'm back, and so are you, and I appreciate that. Now I know what you're thinking. How much more words he gonna say? Well, I'm almost done, man. My friend Mike, we good friends. What's up, Mike? We good friends. My good friend Mike said, Ben Simmons to the Pistons? No, Mike. Ben Simmons to Australia. And also real quick, Tobias Harris, good strong last name. Tobias Harris looked just like J. Cole, right? No? I made that up? Whatever, man. Last name Harris, he in my Hall of Fame. Just like y'all. And please, don't be afraid to like and subscribe if you love me.